Welcome to Live with Heidi. Just a reminder of what we're doing. So every single week, guys, I bring on a brand new guest. Sometimes that guest is me. Today, luckily, it's not. You don't have to hear me talk too much. And I bring on someone who I see in my life as someone of inspiration and hope and light, and someone that's given me knowledge, tips, tricks, tactics to help me better my life, and also someone who's overcome trials. I love people that have been through the gamut. I love people that have made mistakes. I love people who have had really hard hands dealt to them and who have battled through it and who have come out the other side a champion and truly the best version of themselves as a result of what they have been through. Now, my hope with each and every episode is that you'll use this time, you guys, to really listen and to learn and take notes. I'm telling you, for those of you that have been taking notes, it makes a difference. I want you to make sure you're sharing, dig deep into what each guest is teaching, and use these takeaways, guys, to really live the life that you love and to dominate life. Now, people sometimes come up to me and they're like, hey, how can I show you how thankful I am for what you guys give for free? Because this is free. I will say the best way you can thank me and my whole team, my team put so much into this, is by sharing what you learn here. I'm not asking you to share. You don't need to get every single thing out of this. You're going to get a lot of nuggets in here, but all I want you to focus on is one teeny tiny thing. If you come out of this with one nugget of wisdom, it is so worth it for your day. That one little thing, that little spark could be something that ignites a bonfire in your life later. And share. You have a 5 times more likely chance of remembering and retaining information if you share it. It has been statistically proven. So to get you guys to share, here's what I'm going to do. Well, I'm going to give you guys something if you share. If you take a screenshot or a video and you share it on social, you tag me, you tag my guest, and hashtag Live with Heidi, I am going to do something. I'm not going to tell you yet because it's going to come up down the road. Oh, here we go. My little mouse was not working. But what I want you to do, also make sure you're commenting. Like I said earlier, it does make a difference. Think of classes that you go to. When people are commenting, you're learning. Let people know what those aha moments are. Engage, ask questions. I can see them. Our guests can see them. All right, guys, going into the guest. Now that long-winded intro is done, today's guest, guys, is Miss Whitney Jones. Now, Whitney Jones is, I believe it's probably in here. She is Miss Fitness International. Whitney, if you are watching this, let's get Whitney on right now. Let's get Whitney on so she can hear me. Okay, let's get her on. Let's see her face. I want to see her face, Whitney. Okay, so Whitney Jones is, and I'm totally going to jack up the title. When I'm done with this intro, with this bio, Whitney, you can correct me, but I believe you are Miss Fitness International. She's a single mom of 2 incredible boys, ages 11 to 14. There she is. I'm going to brag on you for a second. You're going to have to watch me brag on you. Are you okay? I miss you, Whit. I miss you. Okay, let's introduce you so they know who you are, okay? All right. Well, I'll try Okay. She is a mom of 2 incredible boys, age 11 and 14. She's the owner of Pro Physiques, which is where I train. It is the company, it is the group that helped me get my pro card. It is the largest personal training gym in the state of Arizona. Whitney's a personal trainer, a contest prep coach. She's a fitness choreographer, one heck of a fitness choreographer, to athletes who compete across the country at NPC and IFBB sanctioned events. Whitney and her team have turned over 100 people pro. I am one of those 100. Chris is one of those 100 as well. Whitney owns and runs 3 additional companies. She owns The Pros, which is an online training business. She owns Fearless. See the tank she's wearing? By Whitney Jones. It's an amazing clothing line, apparel and lifestyle line. And the NPC Whitney Jones Classic. So when Chris and I did the Transform Classic, it was with Whitney and her Whitney Jones Classic. In addition to her job responsibilities, Whitney is a Lululemon and Fitfluential ambassador, making her part of a nationwide network of fitness enthusiasts. She shares knowledge throughout multiple platforms. She inspires, educates. She's just amazing. She's sponsored by many incredible companies. And also, I mean, just a little like personal note, Whitney loves to snowboard. She loves to skydive. She loves comedy shows. And sometimes she is the comedy show. Far too often. And honestly, Whitney works really, really hard, you guys. She's one of those people, when you meet her, you just absolutely love her. I know you're going to fall in love with her today. You're going to love her as much as she loves Oreos. She's an massive Oreo lover. And actually, so I have in my notes, my team so graciously put together all of your titles, right? And I'm like, okay, I'll read them. But I didn't look until I, printed it up. So all the pink, hold on. These are all her titles, you guys. There's so many. So I'm not even going to list them all. Let's just say, Whitney, you have won multiple Arnold Classic titles, multiple Olympia titles, right? You won a lot. Maybe one, I don't know. You've won a lot. That's all that I know. What is your current title today?
So it's 2 times Miss Fitness Olympia.
Okay.
Olympia in our sport is the Super Bowl. It's, the big thing. So if you ever qualify for Olympia, it's the pinnacle. And then to actually ever hold the title, you go down in the record books as one of the elite. So it was something I never in a million years never even expected to qualify for Olympia, much less eventually one day win it. So that's kind of the biggest title I have ever earned in the sport. But mom is by far the most gracious title I hold here, near and dear to my heart. So, that's number one in the book. Let's just clarify that.
And I do know that about you. Like, I know you have all these titles. I know you are so accomplished in so many ways, not just in the fitness world, but in the business world. People don't realize, they see your insane body, and they think you are just this powerhouse physically. But what they don't realize is, number one, you are a powerhouse in the business world. And also, you are a powerhouse and a loving, devoted mom, probably like I've never seen before. Like, you love on those boys, and those 2 boys are good, wholesome, incredible boys for a reason, because they have a mama who loves them. You do it also well.
You do.
Yes. Hey, so they're saying move closer to the mic.
Okay.
Or do you have headphones? They're asking.
I do. You want me to go grab them?
Yeah.
I don't know how to connect them to.
That's okay. That's okay. We're good. I went through that before, and it's
like really right in my nostrils.
That's loud. We're good. Hold on. Let me turn that down now. There we go. Did you hear that in your ears too, Chris? Okay, or not Chris. So I just called Derek Chris. I'm mixing up my husband. I got too many.
Too many. You can call me whatever. I'll answer.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So yes, going into you are such an incredible mom. You do so many great things. Before I get started though, because I talked about Oreos.
Yes.
You are an Oreo lover. People are so surprised because they see like your ropes. You got the ropes all the way down your veins. I know, and it's funny how we never love what we have, but right. You have these ropes and you're always like, Tell us though, and you eat Oreos. What's your favorite flavor? And
oh my gosh, it changes because there's so many new ones coming out with a limited edition. So right now, my absolute favorite is the caramel coconut. And it tastes like Samoa's, those Girl Scout cookies. Oh my gosh.
Are they so good?
So good.
Oh.
And then, pistachio thins.
Wow.
Like pistachio? Come on now. That sounds too healthy.
Yeah. Yeah. It does. It's like a nut. That's a nut. I want a nut.
And I tell you what, it sat on my desk. I'm so lucky that my clients will mail me Oreos when they come out, which I'm not complaining. But it sat on my desk for 2 weeks. And then finally, because I literally eat Oreos every day. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to eat one. Whoa. A row was.
Did you go, whoa? Isn't that the thing that they do now? Whoa.
Yes, that's exactly what I did. But those are my favorite right now. Next week, totally could change.
And true story for everybody watching, Whitney eats them every day. When you show up at Pro Physiques, she literally has a bin, not like a little box, not a treasure box with a couple things. It's a bin full of every flavor of Oreo you've ever met. Is there like a flavor that you haven't tried?
I don't think so, honestly, because about a year ago, was it 2 years ago? I did an Oreo challenge where every day I did some stupid trick to earn an Oreo. So we researched and had them shipped from all over the world. Now, granted, some were stale because they were like 5 years old. I still ate them. But I don't think there's a flavor I haven't, even those like the Swedish fish, red hot, like there were some horrible flavors, not gonna lie, but I've tried them all.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
I'm looking for a sponsorship. Come on, Oreo.
So one thing you guys need to know about Whitney. So I think I said Whitney and I have been friends obviously for over 5 years now, because that's when I started working with you guys. Love her to death. And every time I get together with Whitney, there's never a shortage of laughs, ever. You know me. I laugh at everything. And everyone's like, you are the only person I've ever met who laughs at everything. You, Whitney, you laugh at everything. And we'll sit there going, why are we so funny? Like, I think I'm the funniest person I've ever met. And Whitney thinks
a comedy tour to start already. I mean, no one might ever show up, but we will be entertained because the two of us together, it's nonstop.
And as long as we're laughing, that's really all that matters, right? Oh my gosh. Okay, so I also want to say to everybody watching, Whitney, what they might not know is anyone here that is following the Transform app, you guys probably don't know, but Whitney and her team actually were the ones that did all the programming inside of our Iron Gym program. So if you are looking to compete or you want to look shredded or just build a nicer physique, I'm telling you, inside of the app, it is where it's at. That is what I'm giving away to you guys, by the way. So if you guys share anything about this, if you tag me, if you tag Whitney on Instagram stories or on Instagram, and tag Live with Heidi, hashtag Live with Heidi. If you just get me and Whitney, if you get confused, we'll get that. I'm going to give everybody that shares 30 days for free on the app, so you can try Whitney's program inside of it.
Exciting. Who would not take advantage of that? Come on.
I know. It's really good. They get a little bit of Whitney, they get a little bit of Heidi, they get all the goods when they do that program.
Awesome. I love it.
Okay. So guys, I don't know where to start with Whitney. Whitney, I don't know where to start with you because there's just so much good. I think where I want to start, I've already kind of started, but where I want to go from here is just, I love that in the industry, like in the sport that you're in right now, I won't say the industry, but in the sport and in the industry, you really, to me, what I've gathered is you have 2 titles. Like you are such a well-respected human, probably one of the most well-respected in the sport, not just now, but always. And I think that there's not a human that anyone could talk to that's been around you or that's in the sport that does not say the same thing. And it's for a very good reason. And there are 2 things that I think of when I think of you, like 2 titles I would give you. I think number 1, you are the IFBB NPC sweetheart. You are. And the second thing I would say is you are kind of the comeback kid of the sport.
Oh, yeah.
And it's unreal because when I met you, I remember walking in and I remember seeing you. I didn't know you at all because I was super new to the sport. Mm-hmm. But I remember like meeting you and being just super intimidated. I remember because you look at you and you are beautiful and you are so muscular and you see all these titles and trophies and things that you've accomplished and you're the owner of this gym and you have all these people around you. It is right off the bat, like you think you're going to be intimidated by you. And then the second I started talking to you, it was just my guard was completely let down. And you, I'm not kidding you, within seconds, within a minute, I was like, this is a girl, this is somebody I want in my life forever. I felt like we were immediately best friends. And I think that works for everybody. I think everyone that touches your life feels like they are your best friend. And I remember too thinking, she's so sweet and so incredible, but still physically, like I'll never be where she's at. Like I'll never be this, I'll never be that. Because I've had babies, because I've had knee surgeries, because I've had, I had an appendectomy. I had all these things going against me. I've had kidney surgeries. And then I got to know you more. And I'm like, Whitney has more issues than anybody physically. And oftentimes, right before massive shows, I really, and that it blows me away. I know what you deal with. I know what you've dealt with. And I want everybody here to understand what it is that you've been through, what some of your conditions are, and tell us how you've overcome them.
Well, yeah, I'll be honest, it hasn't been an easy journey, but there's not one question in my mind that I would never change anything, honestly. I think because in life, if you're handed everything, you have no appreciation for it. When you have to dig deep and overcome obstacles, bad times, hard times, it makes it so much sweeter and worth it. And for this sport itself, like I said, I got into it just for fun. It was a bucket list thing, like, hey, I've been doing triathlons, marathons, and that was fun, but I wasn't loving it. So I learned about this industry literally only 10 years ago about competing. I've been a personal trainer and loved all of that, but never knew about this sport. So I'm like, I'm going to try it. And I had already had injuries just from growing up with two older brothers and being a daredevil to kind of try and hang with them, something you are very familiar with.
Yeah, I get it. You mean from beating them up. You beat your brothers up like I did mine. Yeah,
I always imagined I was stronger than them. But the thing is, I have some heart issues. I have brain issues. I have narcolepsy. I have just some medical conditions that aren't easy to deal with. But again, it's like I never wanted to be defined as somebody that has that poor me, pity party mentality. And it was like when I found out about the heart issue, which was about 11 years ago, they basically were like, yeah, we don't know what to tell you. You're going to have a pacemaker one day. It's not going to be easy. You probably should get rid of the healthy lifestyle, like active lifestyle. And I thought, there's no chance. Like, no. This is what I love. So I was just so focused on finding a way to prove them wrong.
When
you tell me I can't do something. Really?
I will.
I will show you how.
Say I can't so that I can.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, okay, great. Maybe I will not be this phenomenal athlete because, of course, at that point it wasn't. But trying to tell me you're going to take away my ability to be active and healthy and run and play sports with my boys, that didn't sit well with me. And I was like, you know what? This is it. So that was kind of the start of me being like, you will not define me this way. I will define myself however I want to. And that's where it started. Now, unfortunately, through my 10 years, I have had injuries related to the sport and kind of the crazy stuff I do. Because for anyone who doesn't know much about our sport, my division it's called the fitness division, which is kind of general. But in reality, our division does the routines, the flips, the jumps, the tricks. I do a lot of breakdancing and b-boy stuff, which is, people are like, what? But again, it was a challenge. I was like, I've never done this. I wonder if I can. So there's only one way to find out. But that's where a lot of the injuries have come from. I've now had a total of 16 surgeries, broken probably literally every major bone in my body. But I still know that there's always a way. And the thing is, in your mind, you have to put in perspective, like an injury. There's an end in sight. It's temporary. So as you mentioned, Heidi, for some of my shows, I've torn my ACL. I've had a neck fusion. So I have.
And the ACL was literally 2 weeks before, was it the Arnold or Olympia? I mean, it was right before.
So it was 4 weeks, but I had my neck injury and my surgery 9 months prior. So it was this big comeback on stage to be like, yeah, I was supposed to have this paralyzing injury, which it was. I lost use of my right arm for 3 months, which was crazy. But it was the big comeback. Like, everyone thought I was lying on my Instagram and posting old stuff. They're like, there's no way she's going to make it back to stage after having 12-piece metal cage to put me back together.
Yeah.
But I did. And 4 weeks out, I was trying one of my crazy back flips and landed funky and tore my ACL, my MCL. But again, it was like, no, I'm coming back. And everyone thinks I can't recover from this neck injury. So I told my surgeon, I'm like, give me the post-surgical metal brace. I'm going to come up with a brand new routine. I have 3 weeks because, you know, the week before you fly out, I said, I'll come up with something. Have no idea what. I'll build my brace into the costume. I had to try to learn how to have a little swag and heels because, you know, you just fall over. And I kept it a secret and ended up doing the show miraculously. Ended up winning, which was absurd, but it goes to show like there is a way. I had my upper body still to some extent because with the neck injury I couldn't do much, but it forced me to come up with something completely untraditional, find a way with the body parts that did work. It's all about entertaining and performance and the energy that you put out there. And I came up with something that was totally different than anyone had ever presented because, of course, I couldn't do 90% of what I normally do. And it worked. I was interviewed on stage with Arnold, and he's like, what's this big contraption? I said, well, I tore my ACL, and I'm having surgery tomorrow, so I'm flying out after this.
I remember that time, and I remember actually before you left. So I knew about your knee, and I was completely blown away because at that point in time, I had blown out my ACL twice in my life.
Yes.
Same thing, right? So I knew the pain. I knew the level of instability, and it's real more than pain. When you don't have an ACL, there's no stability. So it's almost like your leg will just kind of, you're at your knee, you'll just kind of flip flop all over the place and it'll hyperextend in every direction. So like the thought of walking in heels with a blown out ACL, yuck. But then all of this stuff that you were needing to do, I remember just being completely blown away and amazed knowing that you were going for it. And then also though, I remember before you left, you and Damien sat me down, you're like, no one can know. So if you're going to post me or if you're going to post her at the gym, don't tell anyone she has a blown out ACL because you didn't want to give the competitors kind of a mental upper hand, right?
Yes.
And I think you didn't want to feel less than as you were going in, and just the way that you handled the whole thing and knowing like the level of pain that you dealt with from your neck. Like I remember, Whitney, you coming to the gym and I would ask how you were and we would talk and you didn't say anything unless someone pried, and I'm pretty good at prying. But I remember you had said like you couldn't sleep at night, like you were up all night because of pain, whether it was before your surgery, after, and just knowing what you were going through. And I like you are the toughest woman I've ever met, and you would show up at the gym every single day with a smile on your face. You had a million things going on with your body, and not only a smile on your face, but the most contagious energy ever. And I have to say, after that, I blew out my ACL, my right one, last year. And as I was going through that, you need to know this. And I don't even know if I've ever told you this, but I had in my mind, previously when I blew out my ACL, it led to an eating disorder, and just, it was not good. I was scared of food. I was scared of, eating. I was scared of working. I was scared of everything. And I kind of spiraled after my first 2 ACL surgeries when I was 17, 18. So in my mind, we have patterns as humans, right? So that was a pattern for me. I blow out an ACL, I have an eating disorder. I blow it out, my eating disorder gets worse. So in my mind, one of the things, as soon as I blew up my ACL, I'm like, shit, like here's my eating disorder again. Like it automatically triggered, here I go, downward spiral, I can't eat. And it was actually you that I thought about. And I'm like, no, you know what? And in my mind, I thought, I'm never going to be able to compete again. I'm never going to have the body that all these things. But I thought about you and I thought, Whitney has been through so much. She had that whole neck fusion thing. She blew out her ACL. She competed 4 weeks later. She recovered. She went on to compete again and again. And just knowing your tenacity and your drive and your determination, I am not kidding you. Every time I've been down and out, you are the one that crosses my mind. Like if she can do it, so can I. And I just need you to know that.
No, I didn't know that. Yeah. But that's why I think it's powerful to share these experiences because people think, and I'll be honest, it's the same thing. And people ask me all the time, is Heidi as sweet in person as she's saying?
You're like, no.
No, come on now. And that's what I love about you, though, honestly. you and Chris, like what you see is what you get. And talking to you in person, talking to you here, what you see on your Instagram, you're just down to earth and you're genuine, and you don't try to act like my life is perfect and I never have issues. No, people see through that. They need authenticity, and just being transparent helps. And, you know, again, it's like, I didn't know this, but me sharing my story with you personally, as well as sharing it with the world, it's all about giving people that little inch to go, oh my gosh, I can do this. I can get through this. Life is hard. It is always going to be hard. If anyone says it's easy peasy, they're lying. Let's be honest.
Yes.
So it's like you need to have these people that you can look to go, all right, maybe it's something with a job. Maybe it's a physical injury, an ailment. Maybe they're struggling with parenting, whatever it is. I always advise people, find people in your circle that you can turn to for that inspiration and motivation, who you can relate to on that level, who doesn't blow smoke. I mean, honestly, it's like, granted, there are amazing things in life, and that's what we showcase a lot, but it's so important to explain those bad times, those hard days, because that's real and everyone experiences it. And that's what people relate to. So I love hearing stories like that, where I could help somebody in a hard time, because that's what it's about, honestly.
I agree. And I do think you help more people than you even realize. It's not even an I think. I know you help more people than you even realize. And I know too, it's a fine line, because you know this on social media. While it's important to open up and be authentic and real and tell your struggles, you can't be just one big wet blanket. You know what I'm saying? Just weighing everybody down. And that's where I feel like you do such a great job. Like, you are completely you, and you're open and you're real and you're raw about all of your struggles. But it comes from a place of hope and knowing that it's not going to stop you from getting to where you want to go. And I think that's the biggest difference. It's the people that share all their problems and their struggles, like it wah, you know, and like, I'm doomed, versus the people that share their struggles as in like, yeah, I'm dealing with shit right now. I said 2 SH words. Sorry. I'm dealing with crap right now. It's usually you. Just kidding. But I'm dealing with some crap right now. But you know what? This crap right here, not crap. Let's not think about a handful of crap. Let's think about dealing with some struggles. And these struggles right here are going to be the most beautiful thing that I am going to transform into lessons that will propel me and catapult me to where I need to go. And I do feel like that's what you do. Like, you're such a source of light and hope for so many people. And I love the whole support thing. I want to know, who is that person for you? So you said surround yourself with people that inspire you. Who are those people that have made you be like, hey, if they can do it, I can do it?
Well, I'll be honest, you are one of them. And I'm being honest, because it's tough. It's tough to open yourself up and be vulnerable. But I've seen, before I met you in person, I followed you, especially being in Arizona. It's like you guys were this amazing, inspirational couple, what you've accomplished. I knew some of your story and some of your struggles. And then following you on Instagram, you helped open me up to being more vulnerable in sharing my story and not having to worry about only presenting the good stuff. And you're so right about it not being like this pity party, negative Nancy. You got to share your stuff, but you got to share what you're doing as you're dealing with that, to provide hope and to make sure you're like, yeah, this is what I'm going through, and it's crazy and it's hard, but bump. So 100%, you are one of them. And
I never knew that. Thank you. That means so much. Thank you.
No, it's true. And when you talk about the day I met you in the gym, when you walked in, I was like, oh my gosh. So, the feeling was mutual. And I'm like, I don't know. She's this celebrity. And should I say hi? Should I not bother her? Like, I was going through this crazy thing, being like, and then I'm like, I'm just going to act like she's someone else, like that walks in the gym. And I'm like, what's up? Like, I only know how to be me. So
Wait,
yeah,
I think that's exactly what you did. I think you went, "What's up?" Like,
probably a high kick or something.
and I loved it.
Which, by the way, I have to tell, I don't know if you guys know, but
Oh no.
I did a performance together. It was so much fun at FitCon the first year. And we put that routine together in what, like 4 days?
4 days.
Left.
I pulled my ab muscle because I remember you wanted to do a standing tuck. And I'm like, I haven't done a standing tuck for 15 years. Okay. So I wasn't going to tell you. I literally was like, sure, I can do a standing tuck. And so I was like, I'm getting this dang standing tuck no matter what. And I pulled my ab, but I still did it.
I know, it was so much fun. I still love it. We need to find that video and post it again because it was like, okay, yeah, I'm competing in fitness. You're in bikini. People can't do this, right? And then here comes Heidi busting out, and I'm like, whoa! I tried to recruit you to the fitness division.
It was actually Damien killed my dream. So I was on it. Like you sold me. And I'm like, I'm doing it, Damien. I'm going fitness. I'm like not doing bikini anymore because I can flip. And he's like, you're too old. I think that's what he said to me. He's like,
wait a second.
He said, your body's going to break. Like you keep tearing things. Your body's going to break.
You're like, yes, but I do that stuff just walking down the street.
Well, and he was right. What he said is no, you started on the bikini path. Get your pro card in bikini and then go from there. Because once you're a pro, you're a pro. I could technically compete fitness.
Yes, you could. I mean, heck, in this day and age, maybe we could even do men's bodybuilding. Just like pull the hair up, shave it, maybe. Not that I ever want to, but you or me, whatever you want, people.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I love it. Oh, so I want to move on now to you post a lot about somebody very important to you, and that's your dad. And I love, like, every time I see a post about your dad, and I actually didn't even know that your dad had passed away until I saw a post.
Well, so my
mom.
No. And that's, we talk about it because there's so much in common with your dad. And
yes, that's what it is. Yep.
Is not doing the best. Like,
yes, your dad's struggling now.
Yes.
But it's your mom. You post a lot about your mom, and she passed away. And every time, and I think I relate it to my dad because it's like, hey, I know what it's like to lose a loved one.
Yes.
And every time I see the post, it makes me think, like, I love when I meet amazing people, and I've said this on here before, but the question that goes through my mind always is, how did their parents raise them? Because however their parents raised them is how I want to make sure I'm raising my kids, because I want pieces of that person, like you, in my kids. And so I will, like, when I met Chris, I said, I want to know exactly what your mom did. Like, I want to know how was your mom? Because she did some great things that made you this incredible person. And with you, Whitney, I love seeing how close you were to your mom who passed away.
Yes.
And you can tell there was a bond, and something that you can tell she made you who you are today. What were some of the characteristics and traits about your mom that you feel you have that make you who you are?
Well, you're right. I mean, my mom and I, we were best friends. It's like, so I grew up with two older brothers, my dad, but, you know, being the only girl and then having that bond with my mom, who I just absolutely adored. There was just never an excuse with her. And I know 100% that's where I got it. She was always setting out to achieve goals that seemed crazy, but she never complained about it. She would get up early in the morning to get some of her work done. She had a full-time job. I remember she went and got her master's degree just because when she was raising 3 kids, my dad was working 2 different jobs. She also had another part-time job. Like, nothing came easy to her. So she instilled hard work. She also was the type that I remember only until she got sick. She unfortunately died of cancer. But before she got sick, I only remember her ever being sick one day. one day my entire life growing up that she was in bed because
Wow.
it's like she's just like, no, I've got things to do. I got people that I want to be around and take care of. And she always found the silver lining. And for me, you know, especially since she's passed and so much has happened in my life, she passed away in 2011. It's tough because I want to share so much with her, and not having her here is tough. You know that when you love someone and they're so close to you, and I just have to constantly tell myself, I know she's proud of me. I know that everything that she has instilled in me, I'm trying to live my life to the best of my ability, mirroring everything I learned from her, especially as a mom. I mean, she retired. She was a teacher and a counselor. And when one of my brothers and I had kids, she said, that's it, I'm retiring. Like, I've been giving my life to all these other kids, and now I have my own grandkids. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's so unfortunate that my boys were not able to grow up with her because that's what she was so excited about. But still, it's like, I constantly am telling them, this is what Nana would say. This is what Nana would do. She was so smart with recording stuff for the boys. She was, when they were younger and growing up after she passed, she had these recorded books where I could open and turn the pages, and it was her voice. And we still, to this day, even though they're older, we still listen to them. You know, she wrote books to them to tell them about her life. Just little things that it's funny that they even say, I bet Nana would do that. Did you learn that from Nana? And it's so true. You know, my mom is, I 100% feel like I'm a mirror of her. And that's what makes me most proud, because I want to instill that in my boys. I want them to see that you work hard for what you want. You don't sit and make excuses. I kind of have this saying that I always tell my boys, my clients, my friends, you're either making excuses or you're making progress. And you think about it. Every day you have that choice, no matter what's going on in your life. You could be having the greatest day, but are you being productive? Are you being efficient? You could be having a horrible day, but you get to choose if you sit and you make progress, no matter what you're doing, or you make excuses. And you have to just listen to the words you say, the things that you say. And the other thing that I always try to live my life by is, and it goes back to kind of the same thing of overcoming all this stuff that's happened, is you can either sit there and tell in your brain that I have to do this, or you flip your perspective and you say, I get to. And I literally still to this day catch myself saying like, oh, I have to go grab this from the grocery store. You know what? I get to. I am so fortunate that I have my health. I can walk. I can talk. I'm fortunate that I have money to go buy groceries. I'm fortunate that I have a vehicle to drive there. Like, you have these choices. And it's the same thing. You know, I realized with my injuries, it's like I took for granted just the ability to be active and healthy. And I flipped that going, you know what? Every day that I sat there, I was like, oh, I have to go to the gym, or I have to meal prep. I have to eat these certain foods for my diet. No, I get to. Everything's a choice. So that's kind of a long-winded way of saying like all these things came from my mom and my dad to really instill who I am and how I direct my life every single day. And honestly, it's some of the most valuable tips I can give people, because it's something you can easily control when there's so much in the world that you can't. Yeah. But you can control your actions. You can choose, are you making progress? Are you making excuses? And you can choose your own language of saying, do I have to, or do I get to? And those are such powerful things that you can do to propel yourself whenever you're having a bad day or going through a hard time. It's all within your range and within your reach to choose how you move forward.
I love that, Whitney. I want to say, like, I would have said amen 27 times during that spiel you just gave. If it wouldn't have interrupted your flow. I just feel you on so many levels. I love that you're either making progress or you're making excuses, or however you said that. It's so true and so beautiful. My dad used to say something similar. He'd say, you're either moving toward what you want or you're moving away from it. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. Like there's no such thing as riding the fence. You can think you're riding the fence. You have to know the direction you're going. And it is true. Hey, do you want to progress or do you want to make an excuse and become worse? And I love that. And I love what you say about you working so hard to be like your mom. And I can appreciate that. I can also appreciate that when you lose somebody you love, I think it gets easier and it gets harder over time. It gets easier because time heals the heart, right? Sure. It gets harder because new wounds open up as you see her and my dad missing things like you talked about. Yeah, it was hard for, my dad not to be able to see Cash and Ruby grow. But at the same time, I've often said, I don't know that I would be who I am or I would have learned from my dad if he were still alive. And I hate that thought. But the reality is people's words oftentimes aren't appreciated or even recognized for how powerful they are until you don't have them speaking them. And you almost have to reflect back. And well, I'm sure, if I could change everything, I'd have my dad here still today and you'd have your mom. The reality is, Whitney, I believe you are as powerful as you are because your mom lives on inside of you and you live every day honoring her by being your best self. And for anybody watching,
you're so right, because, and that's funny that you say that, because honestly, it's, even though my mom would have been here, it made me level up to be like, I don't have her to lean on anymore as a mom to make these decisions, as a business owner within my sport. Like it propelled me to push harder, to just prove it to myself and almost to prove it to her that I can do this without you right there riding me and encouraging me and supporting me. Like, can I? And it's scary, but you're right. And I talked to my friend about this probably about 2 years ago. We had that conversation. I went through a divorce. I went right around the same time. I went through a divorce with my mom. Then all these injuries. And it's like, I wouldn't change anything because I may not have pushed as hard at that moment if I was, had that comfort in my life. You're right.
Yeah. It's you are who you are because you push as hard as you do because of her, and I wholeheartedly agree. In fact, I had somebody not too long ago, it was one of the clients that we coach had reached out and said, my mom is dying. My mom died. And I love this woman. And she said, any advice? Because I know you dealt with it with your dad. And I remember it was the same thing. It's like, hey, you can be one of two people when you lose somebody. You can be someone who we're all going to grieve, like all of us, we're all going to mourn. We're all going to feel grief. We're all going to be sad. And I think that's absolutely normal. You shouldn't ever feel like you can't be sad. And I think that's part of honoring that person. But I think an even larger, better way to honor, a greater way of honoring that person is by not choosing to get under your covers, drink a bottle of vodka and waste your life away being sad for what you don't have. The best way to honor that which you appreciate so much is by being exactly who that person taught you to be, and being all the good that they are. And that's what's great. Like I get to look and I get to say, my dad was all this great and I'm going to push these to the side. There's 99% of him that was great. All of him was great, but I get to be all of the things that I admired about him. Like I get to wake up and I get to choose who I am. And that's, I would say I wish I knew your mom, but I feel like I do know her because you are all the good that she is.
Oh, well, thank you.
I love that.
You would have loved her. You would have loved her.
I'm sure. I love you. So I'm sure I would have loved her. Hold on. Derek said something.
Great question.
Oh,
question to that.
Okay. We got a good question to that. Derek's saying. Okay. Sonia asks, what are some things you do when you have these feelings about thinking about your parents that passed?
Oh, good question. Yes. I would say, so this is going to sound really silly, but I saw a coffee mug forever ago that said, be the person your dog thinks you are. And
I have a shirt that says that.
Oh, do you? I love it. Because I'm like, you're right. Your dog thinks you're the best, most amazing person, and it kind of goes back to, it doesn't matter who in your life you've lost. Maybe it's a best friend, maybe it's a spouse, a parent.
Yeah.
Either way, when I'm sad, I think about, okay, be the person that my mom thought I was. Because again, in those moments that you're sad, and to your point, they want you to be happy. They want you to achieve everything in your life. And it's like, for me, that's something I do only because it kind of makes me giggle because of the mug about the dog. And no, it's not, I'm not living my life for my dogs, but even though they are great. But I do. I like that because it's like, you know what? If I was being sad, if I was allowing it to take me down, that's not what my mom would have wanted. And she would have been going, Whitney, suck it up. Come on, move on. Don't have that pity party. That's what I've said, I think, like 3 times now. But that's because of her. She would call me out like nobody's business. But I do. It's like you have an opportunity to go, they think I'm this amazing, great person that's achieving everything. So be it.
Yes.
Be what they think you to be, and what they believe you to be. So that makes me feel better. Yes, you have to have those moments where you are sad. You allow yourself to be real. But then what do you do with it? What are you doing with it besides allowing it to just take you down and take you to a dark place and a sad place? You've got to find something productive out of it.
I love that. Such great advice. Now, I want to move on real quickly because I know we're running out of time and there's a few things I want to cover and I want to go over. Balance.
Yes.
It's this word that everybody has a different definition of. Yeah. But when I think about you and I think about everything that you juggle, I kind of led on in the beginning. You are such an amazing businesswoman, and you are. And you are also an incredible mom. You are everything you do, Whitney. You do 120%. You just do. You go all in. And that's why every area of your life that you touch, you create success. You don't find it, you create it. And you create happiness and you create peace in all of those areas. There's an element, some people say balance doesn't exist. Well, it does, because everyone has a different balance. Like, right. I want to know, like, what is your balance? How do you view balance? And what tips can you give people for better balancing their own lives to achieve more?
Yeah. Well, so it starts first with prioritizing, obviously. For me, boys are first and foremost. I'm a single mom, so a lot just rides on me. So they are by far the most important, and what they need and their schedule, schooling, sports, that's always first. But I also think it's important. Every person must have their own goals, because if you give everything to everyone else, you will never be a truly happy person. And for moms and dads out there, you're not setting a good example to your kids to show them, do your own thing, have your own goals, have your own life. So you have to have a balance of helping others, whether it's through your job. And for me, that's my clients and my businesses, helping my kids to grow and grow up to be sweet, respectable young men. And then, of course, having my own goals. The best advice I have, though, is you got to have a plan. Yes. You have to be organized, and you have to, and people say it all the time, you have to be able to go, today is not going to go as planned. I don't think I've ever had a day that goes as planned. And no. Okay. It's okay, but you have to truly be in the mindset to go, it's fine. I'm going to do the best I can. You got to be able to roll with the punches. It's great to have those. I have several friends who literally, they have like one responsibility in their life. And when their day goes a little off, they're like, oh, and I'm like, oh my God, I would trade a heartbeat. But again, in their realm and in their world, it's just crazy. You have to be able to laugh it off and be like, are you kidding? Did that just happen? Did my car just break down? Did my football stuff at the house when I told him when we were walking out the door, make sure to grab your football stuff? I mean, there's so many things that come up on a daily, hourly basis. You have to roll with the punches, and you have to know, all I'm going to do is do the best I can. So I have a plan each day. It doesn't always go as planned. I try to reevaluate halfway through and go, okay, I need to reprioritize because I still have to get X, Y, and Z done.
Yeah.
And the other things are going to have to wait. And you have to be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
Again, there's so much in people's lives that if say your goal is, I got to get to the gym or I got to go to the grocery store today, and just things keep coming up and it doesn't happen. Some people will dwell on that. And, you know, if it's, oh my God, I didn't go to the gym. Now I'm lazy and gosh, I'm never going to be where I want to be. Don't beat yourself up. Stuff happens. Take it with a grain of salt. There's always tomorrow. If you didn't get to the grocery store, hopefully you have something to eat at the house. You know, it's like you have to just take the day as it goes, balance as best you can, have a plan, but literally, more importantly, I think you have to be willing to just say, okay, that's all right. We're still going to make it work. I'm still going to try to follow my plan for the day and get what I can accomplished and move on. Go to sleep, wake up the next day and try it again. It's always an adventure.
I love that. And I actually think what you just described, number one, I can attest that that's how you live. Like you do. Everything you just said, that is who you are in a nutshell. And I also believe that is a major part of the recipe for happiness. I believe it. I once heard, and I live by it now. I love it. I have to remind myself of it and everybody in my life all the dang time. Yeah. The root of all unhappiness is unmet expectation. And it's true. Like if you are unhappy, if anybody watching this is unhappy in any area of your life, you can always, not even almost always, you can track it back to an expectation that wasn't met. And I think too, before you even go there, yes, priorities, like you are the shining example of setting priorities and sticking to it. And then having that plan, knowing ultimately where you want to go, but remaining flexible allows you to almost let go of your expectations for the day for anything outside of your own effort. That I think you hold a high expectation for and you meet it every day. Like you can control your attitude, Whitney, and you can control your effort. But I do think I've seen you live that. And I also love how you roll with the punches, like you say, and you laugh at everything.
Yes.
In fact, I mean, there have been many shows that you and I have been at together where things just did not go right for me. Like a lot of things did not go right, from my luggage not showing up to my food not, being there, to I had no bikini, I had this. And you actually helped me like laugh. It's like, oh, okay, what are we going to do? Like, you're just so good at that. And it puts everybody around you at ease. Like you truly, Whitney, you are one of a kind. And I know everybody watching this can totally see that. Okay, wait, hold on. Before we go on, because we are approaching 1 p.m. We are approaching 1 p.m. now. And I could go on and do this with you for about 7 hours. I think we could do a 7-hour live.
People are like, oh my gosh, come on. Stop.
I just calculated it. 7 hours is the magic number. Okay, Whitney. So I know that you have a special offer for our peeps watching this. Do you want to tell us about it?
Yes. So Fearless, this is my clothing and apparel line. Again, so much of what you've heard today is why I created this apparel line. It's for women. I don't have a men's line out yet. Working on that. But it's all about just accomplishing what you want, facing fear in the face, going after everything you've dreamed of without hesitation. There's so much for me that I was like, I don't ever want to have to think back and go, what if? Just go for it. So that's why I created the Fearless line. And so it's just fun pieces, some crazy, funny sayings, fun fitness apparel, so that, you want to feel good when you're working out and look cute. So anyone that purchases any of the items Fearless, and it's fearlesswit.com is the website, you'll get a free bracelet that says Fearless on it, sterling silver, with any purchase. So it doesn't matter what you buy, but that's going to be something that's thrown in. And there's a code. I can't remember what the code is. The code is
Fearless Cuff. So Derek, can you type that please and put it in? So Derek's going to go ahead and put it inside of the comments here for anybody there. Okay, there's fearlesswit.com. We'll get the code in here as well. And then also, Whitney, people, where I know that you have Pro Physique's gym, obviously, because I go there. I know that. And then Whitney Jones Classic. Where can they get more information about both of those things? And where can people find you?
Best place is Instagram. That's where I'm posting. I mean, you have to like shenanigans because I'm professional a lot. But
you guys are always doing things where you're shoving as much food in your mouth as possible and seeing who can get like the most. I love it.
Human tricks, no question. So if you're looking for entertainment, but Instagram is Whitney Jones _ IFBB Pro. And then the second thing is the website for fearless _ WJ. That's the apparel line. And then the NPC show, if you're wanting to ever compete or even just kind of follow the journey, it's Whitney WJ Classic. So those are the 3 Instagrams, and you'll see them. I'm posting them all on my own personal one. So you can find all the information there.
Perfect. And guys, I want you to know all those things that she just said. We're going to go ahead and email out with our weekly recap. So you'll be getting a playback of this whole episode. You'll be getting all of Whitney's contact information, all of her. I'm giving you her phone number. No,
Yeah.
not phone number. We'll let you know where you can find Whitney. We'll let you know about all of these specials he has going on. Whitney, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Oh gosh, yes. I loved this opportunity. I just think I follow, honestly, so many of your fans that follow you because I love the stories, and I love that they tag me on a lot of stuff. And I'm empowered because of the fact that I'm being included in their story, their journey. I love anyone who's really just going after it. So anyone who's listening, I would love to get to know you. Message me, include me in your journey. We're a big family. So, we're all here to support each other. And I loved having this opportunity to shine on your platform and your podcast. I love it. So thank you guys. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for being here. And to everybody watching, thank you guys for spending a whole hour with us. That hour went by really, really quickly because I was just hanging out and shooting it with my friend. I know. And I hope all of you guys, it's not even a hope. I know everybody here got so much from this. Whitney is obviously such an amazing, inspirational woman, and she is where she's at for a reason. It's not because she was just born with it. It's because she works for it, and she's smart, and she wants it. And guys, every one of you guys can pull little nuggets out of this to make your life better and to make your dreams a reality. So thank you for being here with me. It's an honor. Whitney, I love you. Everybody watching, I love you. Mwah. Bye, guys.